It's Queen's birthday weekend Monday, public holiday. There's a thick fog bank on the far side of the harbour. It's just about lunchtime, the weather has improved a heap. We have the rudder loaded back up. Some glass and peel ply. 20 litres of resin. I think the hardness of the boat. First order of business is a bit of a sand. So we got the random orbital attached to the vacuum cleaner. Well, that didn't take long to get down to the epoxy. Unfortunately, I put the sander down the gravel and sucked a piece of gravel into it, which has jammed it up. So I have to take the pad off and free it. That was a bit silly. Right, well, I could have done without that with a bit of common sense, David. Now, there is the stone. It's not actually very big. Keel's done. Keel's done. Salt LC dogs arrived. Oh, we have the rudder here. So, second epoxy at the trailing edge. Double bias each side will give us something to build to. Also on the starboard rudder, which is still in situ. Starboard end of the keel. And end of the port keel, which is by far and away the worst, with a end that's about 20 millimeters thick. And I've put a drip stop over here to stop the water running down into the workshop. The newly bonded window is looking good. We can see the white frame, the black coving, and then, because the sun's shining through it, the grey frit from the paint on the outside. Also started repairing the glass on the port rudder. It's Tuesday afternoon and the weather is not as good. Well, the good news is that there has been no water onto the carpet. Yay! Well, it's fairly cold and quite humid, so glass is not, or the epoxy is not fully hard, so we should get a good chemical bond into it. The rain's actually stopped, but I put a drip brake up on here as well to get the water off the keels. Now it started raining again. I've done some filling. We'll put a layer of glass over it, and then at some stage we can true everything up. We'll do that next. Okay, filler there. Starboard keel, trailing edge, and port. Right, now for another layer of glass on everything. Now it's looking a lot better. Some more glass on the bottom. I think we'll just strip the paint off the rest of it with a stripper. starboard keel. Port looks just the same. The tape is keeping the water off. Now there's the port one. We've got masts blocking our way. I would imagine there's a crane coming in to re-step them. Next job is to transfer resin from the very heavy 20 litre container into the 4 litre container. Another lot of fairing on the starboard rudder and both keels. I haven't done the trailing edge of the port rudder. I've decided to take all the antifouling off and the old glass and re-glass the whole thing, which will include the trailing edge. I filled up 3 4 litre containers of 105 resin. Still got some left in the 20 litre. Only thing is, I've forgotten what I've done with the rest of the hardener. Might not look at, but it's getting pretty dark. Well, there we are, the light on the camera's on. So the side has all the antifouling and the glass off. Been sanded. Looks fine. The glass wasn't particularly well adherent in places, so well worth removing it. Of course, the other side is almost completely glassed, but that will wait another day. It's 5:20. Time to go home. I imagine the masts will be back on this, I presume, schooner tomorrow. Well, the masts are still here, blocking my access. We'll do the other side of the rudder. I don't think we'll need to take the glass off this side. We'll just see. We're getting there. It started raining. It's pretty dark down that way. Just about there here. So we're down to the undercoat. Epoxy barrier undercoat, I'm sure, and it won't be long when we get things sanding, depending on the weather behaving itself. Windy and very cold and wet, but ready for sand. Now, the worst of the rain and wind has stopped. It's still pretty cold, but progress needs to be made. Oh, it's coming along. Oh, I think a bit of Trailing edge still needs a wee bit of a tidy up. Well, as usual, yet more fairing. And on the end of the keels, and on the other rudder. Well, hopefully the epoxy will go off overnight. We can give it a sand and start putting some glass on. Oh, the cat that was here has gone in. Well, it's pretty cold, but the epoxy has set off, so quick sand of all various bits and we'll pop some glass on. We've got visitors coming this afternoon, so it's 9:30 in the morning. Right, we've lifted the sawhorses up, cantilevered the rudder, tied around the bottom of the scaffold pole, so we should be able to drape glass over it. So we're going to have a layer of ordinary glass, a layer of biaxial, layer of ordinary glass on the beer side, and the ordinary glass top layer will just wrap around both sides. Right, so this side's got 200 gram plain weave, double bias, 200 gram plain weave. This side still had glass on it, it's just got 200 gram plain weave. Yet another layer of double bias on the ends of both keels, and I would think just a fair up now, and that should be strong enough. Right, well, it's Sunday, it's cold, it's wet, and it's supposed to be really windy later on today. So we'll wash the amine blush off here, give it a sand. And same for these other bits. Right, sanded. Sanded, and all of these are sanded as well.